Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and welcome back to another 2023 preview and prediction video. Today, I'll be doing the Oregon Ducks. Let's get right into it. Well, last season Oregon went 10-3 with a Holiday Bowl win over North Carolina. Their only losses were to the national champions Georgia Bulldogs, the Washington Huskies, and Oregon State. Besides the Georgia loss, their other two losses were only by one score, so they were just a few plays away from playing for the Pac-12 title. Some signature wins that they had were against UCLA and Utah, and North Carolina, I guess. So, that being said, let's go ahead and go look at the roster. Well, Dan Lanning, coming into a second season with Oregon, gets his quarterback back. Bo Nix, he comes back for his senior season. If you don't remember, he was a quarterback that went to Auburn in 2019 as a freshman and beat Oregon in his first game. He then spent 2020 and 2021 at Auburn before transferring to Oregon. And now he's with the Ducks for his second season. You have Bucky Irving back at running back, as well as Noah Whittington. Wide receiver Troy Franklin's there. You also have a transfer in Trayshawn Holden from Alabama and Tez Johnson coming in from Troy. You have some other guys such as Kyler Casper and Chris Hudson that also get into the fray. Another transfer in Gary Bryant, who's coming in from USC. So, good pickup for the Ducks there. Tight end, you have Terrence Ferguson still, and Patrick Herbert. Casey Kelly is also there. And the offensive line, you have two transfers, left guard and right tackle, but the other three are returners. On the defensive side, you lost a couple of your defensive linebackers like Justin Flo, but you do get Mace Funa back. You get Casey Rogers at D-tackle back, Brandon Dorless, Popo Aumave back, but the rest of the projected starters are transfers. Jordan Birch, who I believe is from South Carolina, is coming in at defensive end. Big get for Oregon. He was a guy that saw a lot of time at South Carolina, so we'll see if he does well there. You also get Justin Jacobs, who's coming in from Iowa. Another good school to get defensive players from. And your secondary has been revamped fully. Kyrie Jackson coming in from Alabama at one of your corner spots, as well as Tysheem Johnson at free safety coming in from Ole Miss. Good pickup there. Evan Williams coming in from Fresno State. Nico Reed coming in from Colorado at the other corner spot. And at nickel, you have a freshman in Cole Martin. So, with that being said, you also have another freshman, Mateo Uyunglele, who will maybe make an impact this year. With that being said, let's look at the schedule to see how I think Oregon's going to do this year. Well, you start the season against Portland State. You should get a big win there. No issue, I don't think. Portland State shouldn't keep up with you. Then you go on the road for an interesting road game against Texas Tech. Now, if you remember last year, Texas Tech beat Texas, and they were a above average team in the Big 12 last year. Tyler Shuck is back. They were 8-0 when Tyler Shuck started the whole game. So, if he does not have an injury, if he doesn't have injuries this year, then Texas Tech could be a very dangerous team. Now, I do think that Oregon is good enough to win this game. It's in Lubbock, but I think with the additive that Bo Nix is back, I think that they're going to be able to win this game. But I would not be surprised if Texas Tech started to push them. Then you come back home to play Hawaii, and I think you're going to win that game very easily. Then you play Colorado, same story. At Stanford, same story. Then you get into the meat of your schedule after your bye week. You play at Washington against Washington State, at Utah against Cal, against USC, and then at Arizona State and against Oregon State. So let's just get right into this. So at Washington, coming off the bye week is a big get for Oregon right here. Last year it was a one-score game late, and with a hurt Bo Nix, they struggled. At this point in the season, I think Bo Nix will, if he has any injuries, that bye week is going to help, and I think that Oregon's going to get a big win on the road at Washington against the Huskies to go to 6-0. Then you come back home to play Washington State, who is a dangerous team when you're not expecting it. So would not be surprised if Washington State early pushes Oregon, but I do think the Ducks have enough firepower to get the win against the Cougars. Then you're on the road at Utah, which is another dangerous team. Cam Rising in that offense. But like I said, same thing with Washington State. I think that Oregon has enough firepower to get past Utah. I do think it could be a close game, but I do think Oregon wins it. Then you go back home to play Cal. I think you're going to beat Cal out of the water before playing a big Pac-12 matchup against USC. This is going to be if both teams are undefeated or have one loss at this point, this is going to be the game of the Pac-12. Late in the year, November 11th, I think USC gets the win. I think at this point, USC with Caleb Williams and that offense is going to have enough firepower to push Oregon enough like they hadn't been pushed maybe since the Washington game. And I think that USC gets the win and gives Oregon their first loss. After this, you go at Arizona State, where I think you get a big win. A little Bo Nix, Kenny Dillingham rematch or revenge game before playing Oregon State, and I think that Oregon gets the win here to finish the season 11-1. I just think that with as much talent as Oregon has, I think that they're going to be able to win at least 10 or more games this year, the regular season. They're just too talented, and with Dan Lanning, he's shown that he can coach with the talent that he has around him. We'll see if he can sustain that recruiting, but with him being from Kirby's talent tree, I think he'll be just fine. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and Go Dogs.